Hey guys, I'm an intern from Simmi Foundation and we work towards the benefit of mankind. Current aim is education for all. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started.
Today we'll start with biochemistry and we'll learn about the chemistry of carbohydrates. So to start off, carbohydrates can be defined chemically as aldehyde or ketone derivatives of the higher polyhydric alcohols or compounds which yield these derivatives on hydrolysis. So carbohydrates can be obtained on hydrolysis and they are either aldehyde or ketone derivatives. But more specifically, in today's session, we'll look at the monosaccharides and specific properties relating to glucose. So let's classify the carbohydrates first of all. Carbohydrates can be classified as monosaccharides, disaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. We'll look at the individual classification, that is monosaccharides, disaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides in our later sessions. But first, considering monosaccharides. Monosaccharides, they are the simple sugars and they are or they cannot be hydrolyzed into simpler forms. So monosaccharides are those sugars which cannot be further hydrolyzed into its simpler forms, that is aldehydic or ketonic form. And the general formula can be CnH2nOn. This is the general formula which we need to keep in mind. Monosaccharides can be classified depending on the number of carbon atoms it has and also depending on whether it has a aldehyde group, that is CHO group, or a ketonic group, that is C double bond O group. And if it is an aldehyde group, it is an aldosis, and if it is having a keto group, it is ketosis. So monosaccharides, if it is a 3 carbon, then it will be a triose, a general term, and if it is an aldehyde, it will be called as aldotriose, and if it is a ketone, it will be called as ketotriose. This chart shows us the exact name of that aldose sugar and the ketose sugar. So if it is a triose having 3 carbon atoms, then we'll call it as glyceraldehyde if it is an aldose sugar, and dihydroxyacetone if it is a ketose sugar. If it is a tetrose having 4 carbons, then it will be erythrose, and here for ketone it will be erythrulose. If it is having 5 carbon atoms, that is, if it is a pentosus, it will be ribose for aldehyde and ribulose for ketone sugars. And lastly, if it is a hexose having 6 carbon atoms, then it will be glucose and the other sugar will be a ketose. Fructose if it is a ketone sugar. Now let's look at the general properties pertaining to glucose. First of all, asymmetric carbon atom. By asymmetric, we mean that it is not symmetrical. This circle, for example, if it is not proper, if we cut it, it will be symmetrical if it is a proper one. So a carbon atom to which 4 different atoms or group of atoms are attached, then it is called as a asymmetric carbon. So this is a typical example of asymmetric carbon in which it has 4 different groups. One is the alcoholic group over here. The other one is the aldehyde group. This is the R group, and this carbon is bonded to a hydrogen atom. Next, we go on to Van 't Hoff's rule, or Van 't Hoff gave us a rule of n's. He said that 2n equals the possible isomers of that compound, and here n is representing the number of asymmetric carbon atoms in a compound. So if a compound has if it is having two asymmetric carbons, then the total number of isomers will be 4 according to Van 't Hoff's rule. So 4 isomers will be present. Next, we move on to stereoisomerism. The presence of an asymmetric carbon atoms in a compound gives rise to this formation of isomers of that compound. And such compounds which are identical in composition but only differs in their special configuration, that is spatial configuration, then these are called as stereoisomers. Like over here, glucose, it can be either D-glucose or L-glucose, and these both are mirror images of each other. So we can call it as stereoisomers of each other. Next, moving on to the D series and the L series. When the orientation of the hydrogen and the OH group, that is the alcoholic group, around a carbon atom just adjacent to the terminal primary alcohol carbon. For example, this is the carbon atom over here. So the hydrogen atom and the OH atom will determine whether it will belong to a D series or L series. So we'll see what determines or how it will be determined. If OH group is on the right, for example over here, OH group is on the right, then it belongs to the D series. So this is D-glycerose or D-glyceraldehyde. If the OH group is on the left, then it is L-glyceraldehyde. So it will belong to the L series. And we need to keep in mind that most of the monosaccharides occurring in mammals are D sugars, and the enzyme responsible for their metabolism are specific to this configuration. So enzymes are specific whether it is a D series or it belongs to L series. There are specific enzymes for this, not the same enzyme. So most of the monosaccharides in mammals belong to D series. Optical activity. When a beam of plain polarized light is passed through a solution exhibiting optical activity. So if we have a solution which is showing some optical activity, and if we pass a light through it, then it will be rotated either to the left or the right in accordance with the type of the compound it is. Hence, it is an optical isomer, or also called as the enantiomorphs. When the light is rotated towards the right, the compound is called as dextrorotatory, denoted by D or a positive sign. And if it is rotated towards the left, the compound is called as the levorotatory, and it is denoted by L or a negative sign. If equal amounts of, that is positive dextro and negative levorotatory isomers are present, then it will result into a mixture which will cancel out each other's effect, and it will have no optical activity. Such mixtures are called as racemic mixtures. And the separation of these optically active isomers from a racemic mixture is called as resolution. So if we have a racemic mixture having dextrorotatory as well as levorotatory, we can separate it out. We can separate this racemic mixture by the process called as resolution. We will continue this session in our next video, taking more properties of glucose and also focusing more on monosaccharides, disaccharides, and further on carbohydrates.
Thank you very much for listening to me patiently, and please stay tuned for more such videos. Once again, thank you.